Something about Team New Zealand's AC40 test programme doesn't add up. Now, either I've misunderstood, or Emirates are gaming the system hard. I'll tell you what I see and let me know what you think is going on. Now, given Emirates' ability in the last cup to find grey, ambiguous areas in the rules and extract an advantage, it may not be a surprise to you to hear that all is not quite as it seems on the AC40 test platform. Now, when the protocol for the 37th America's Cup was announced, we were told in the sound bites of 3 development tools the teams could use. The option to use a legacy AC75 test platform for anything above the waterline, and then there was the addition of either modifying your AC40, which was the new one design class, using that as a test mule, or building your own like the teams did in the last cup, and as we've seen Ineos and Luna Rossa follow. And all the language around the press releases seemed to feed into this belief that the strategies around a test platform were pretty simple. The way the rules are actually written, specifically the technical regulations and how they limit the number of self-made LEQ12 parts, seems to open up another option: multiple LEQ12 testing. So what happens here? Well, as long as you keep the hulls one design from your AC40s, in theory you can have up to 4 AC40s, each with one test foil and one design foil, all lining up against each other. Essentially, the way it's written, as long as you don't take the hulls out of one design, your quota of LEQ12 parts can be spread across many boats. Now, using 4 separate AC40s for testing is a bit outlandish, but certainly splitting your LEQ12 quota across 2 AC40 hulls to run some detailed 2-boat testing is certainly within the reach of Emirates Team New Zealand, and it will shortly be a possibility for Magic and I believe Alinghi when their second boat arrives. So what have Emirates Team New Zealand been doing with their boat to date, and have they leveraged this ability to 2-boat test within the rules, or will they? Well, the big addition so far is the banana foil. And the interesting thing to note is the number of revisions this foil has been through. They're up to revision G at the time of publishing, and most of these revisions have been barely perceptible. Maybe a reduction in thickness here, a change in chord there, and the most obvious addition was a camera this week that came and went just as quickly. Their main seals have been through plenty of revisions with lots of playing around with battens. Gone are the C-Tech batten pockets, and they're replaced with a sturdy kind of bolt arrangement. To my eye, it looks like they have a thicker head batten and a thinner gaff batten compared to the OD AC40 sails. But here comes the interesting bit, and it's the parts that they haven't declared from the AC40 quota. So here's how it works. Every team has to declare when they launch an LEQ12 part. So far, Emirates Team New Zealand have only registered 1 foil wing, 1 foil flap, some mainsails and some jibs. But clearly we can see they've made a modification to the head of their mast. An extra fibre pad have been bonded on, in addition to a fairing material which kind of covers the top of the join between the 2 sails. Yet, Emirates Team New Zealand haven't registered an LEQ12 mast. So, I guess these additions must be within the AC40 one design rules. What are these extra bits for on their mast? Well, possibly they provide support for the stiffer head batten that they've been playing with on their LEQ12 quota main. So, certainly a bit of a grey area, because Emirates Team New Zealand are currently writing the rules for the AC41 design. Meanwhile, they're making revisions to their LEQ12 parts and their one design parts, literally putting them in the position of making the rules up as they go along. But there's more. So remember again how I said that one design parts don't count to your quota as long as they are mounted on a one design hull. Well, even the Emirates Team New Zealand test hull, which includes the cockpit and deck as defined by the AC40 technical regulations, looks to have undergone modifications. And this is a bigger issue because as soon as the Team New Zealand hull itself goes out of class compliance, then that means all of the one design parts mounted to that hull should then be taken off their quota. That's the rudder, the starboard foil, the mast, if it isn't an LEQ-12 test mast already, and yet none of this is on their quota to date. Now, I've been taking a while to see how other teams might react to this, watching the rule inquiries, which surely they would post, but to date there's nothing. Why is that? Why has no one queried it? Well, like I said, Emirates Team New Zealand are still writing the AC40 rule, and other teams probably want to see how much of this kind of modification that Emirates Team New Zealand have been doing actually fits within that rule once they publish it, and that's going to happen in March. Now don't get me wrong, I think there should be some allowance for Emirates Team New Zealand to kind of update the AC40 rules as they were commissioning the first AC40. You know, if it's a mod which produces a better boat for all, then, you know, certainly that's good. But these mods they've been making to their test platform on the hull and the mast, which they haven't declared, they're not seen on any of the other syndicates' AC40s. And to me, they look to mesh with equipment, whether it's kind of human interface equipment or the BATM systems on their main. So definitely really test orientated rather than one design modifications for the benefit of all. If Emirates Team New Zealand have really messed this up and it's an opportunity for other teams to question their quota, would it be a disaster for Team New Zealand? Well, they retain basically the option to put future LEQ-12 parts on the other AC40 they've got for some kind of two-boat testing. But they would lose a big chunk of their quota. At least one foil, a mast, alterations to a hull eventually, the rudder would all go from their quota. So you tell me, what do you think? Should we start expecting LEQ-12 parts to start appearing on Emirates Team New Zealand's second AC40? Or with computer simulation are the days of meaningful two-boat testing effectively dead, and actually having one platform in an OD format is kind of fine? I for one will be eagerly awaiting the release of the AC40 Class Rules, and we also have the relaunch of TRHE to look forward to in the coming weeks. Plus other teams are potentially moving their AC40s into their kind of test platform phase, so I'll be really looking forward to see what happens there. Catch you in the coming weeks. I think it's going to be a big few months ahead. See you around.